Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin to such extent that you bleach to get like the white man? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet?
I love people as I meet them one by one. People are just wonderful as individuals. You see the whole...
My great aspiration, my greatest ambition is to be so good. Now, in that way, I'm tiresome, as I suppose, to live with, because I want to be a fantastic human being.
I am the greatest.
We're not disputing that, Cassius, but how does Sonny Liston feel about it?
He can't feel but one way, and let's take everything I say and like it. Because February the 25th, I'm going to take back my job. I'm the champ. He's no champ. He's a tramp. When you see men fall, don't laugh. Learn. Learn. Because you're on your way up. And the things that tempt people to fall, you and I are not free from that temptation.
Peace and blessings, man. And glory, praise, and honor to the Most High. I'm highly favored and grateful to be here with you on this Thursday. I appreciate everybody who is pulling up. This is probably one of the more difficult streams that I've done in a while, and we've done a lot of them. Shout outs to everybody. Blessings to you and your loved ones. I hope your week has been well with you. I hope everybody is counting their blessings. There's a lot to cover here. And I want to do my best between me and the panel. I want to do my best to make sure that we discuss this with as much logic and as much respect as possible on all fronts. Nobody has any other goal or intentions here other than to find some type of solution, revelation, and peace throughout this tragic time. We're going to go over a few videos. There's going to be a lot of commentary, a lot of thoughts, a lot of views on this. I don't want to speed through anything. If you have any questions, any thoughts, any concerns, any agreements, disagreements, feel free to share. This is an open forum for anybody to voice their thoughts. Right now, what I'm going to do is bring Jason up. I do have someone else supposed to be pulling in. So when they join, I'll bring them up. But Jason, I'm bringing you in. Good afternoon, good evening to you. Talk to me. How you feeling, man?
I'm well, thanks. Another good day. Good day of work. How are things with you?
I'm grateful. Grateful to be above ground, man. It could always be worse. I don't want to have space for complaining. I don't want to leave space or room for anything outside of, well, everything is possible. So I'm not going to speak anything negative on myself. I don't think anybody should, but yeah, I'm cool, man. I'm cool. So yeah. Before we actually go into the footage, because there's a few pieces that I have. Everybody has a different opinion on this. There's a lot of anger, a lot of rage, a lot of emotion tied into this. How much of this story are you aware of? And initially, your thoughts on it.
This is the first. This is the first I've heard of it.
Okay, yeah. It was introduced to me, to be honest, as well, a few days back, and it's something that I want to say I'm surprised at, but I'm not surprised at, seeing as how we've already had about 2 to 3 other incidences with teenagers, black teenagers, ending up in alleged accidents. 2 twins were found in a drowning accident. So they say the other set, they wanted to call it suicide, murder, suicide. And then you have the Carmelo Anthony case. It seemed like this month in particular, there's a lot of stereotypical black on white generated situations happening. And this one right here it's going to be a hard pill for a lot of people to swallow, because everybody wants to point the finger at a variety of different parties here. And like, I think that we will give this as much of a fair assessment as possible. I did a short on it. I wasn't very specific, but I asked a real question that I didn't really get an answer to, but that's why we are here. I want to be as thorough as possible with my assessment. The videos that I'm going to play pretty much will give you the details and why everybody is in such a hysteria over it. My condolences to the family of the officer, and my condolences to the Hinton family as well. Nobody won in this situation, and for that, I want to do my best to kind of give this the just due that is possible. So, the first video that I'm going to play is going to give you the stage. This is where everything starts. Teenager loses his life. trying to evade the police. From that, it turns into the father in retaliation taking the life of a retired officer. And now everybody is saying, all right, well, he didn't have to gun him down. He had a gun on him. The officer was protecting himself. There's another side where people are saying he didn't have a gun. He was running away from the officer. He had no reason to shoot him. Other people are calling the father a hero. Other people have different opinions. And so let me see. Let me bring it up here. Just so y'all know, I have a couple different pieces because I want to be as thorough as possible with this one. I'm going to start with this, how it started. Get your thoughts on the original piece right here. I will transition over to the other ones as the stream goes on.
Oh my God.
This father kills a cop after cop killed his son. That really happened, and now 2 families are completely shattered. Last Thursday in Cincinnati, police found a stolen car with 4 people asleep inside. When they pulled up, everyone took off running. One officer chased 18-year-old Rodney Hinton and claimed Ryan pulled a gun. That cop shot and killed him. They found a weapon next to Ryan's body. But here's the problem. The next day, Ryan's family went to the station to watch the body cam footage, and it never shows Ryan pointing a gun. It just shows him running. That's it. His dad, Rodney Hinton, saw that video and snapped. On his way out of the station, full of rage and grief, Rodney saw a random cop nearby and drove his car right into him, killing him on the spot. That officer wasn't even involved. He had nothing to do with Ryan's death. He was a retired officer working security for a graduation, and now he's dead too. This is a tragedy on every level. And honestly, it never would have happened if cops were actually held accountable. I'm not saying what Rodney did was right, but when people feel like the system won't give them justice, they try to get it themselves. 2 lives.
Well, most of you already seen that video. It didn't have the theatrical music behind it, but you get the gist of it. There's a few things here that I want to point out, right? That I feel like it's necessary. Hold on, let me bring Jason back up.
Sorry, my camera sometimes goes on the fritz.
Gotcha. So before you speak, I just want to put this out there. You go on Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, there's multiple variations of this body cam. So for me, I'm going off of this video, but there's multiple versions. So, I mean, based on what you've seen so far, what are your thoughts?
It's a tragedy. It's unfortunate. I agree that there is a lack of accountability and a lack of proper policing of police. The belief that police are enforcing the law, therefore they're exempt from the finer points of the law, is ridiculous. And I think if we're going to do anything about this, it needs to be done in an intelligent way. It needs to be done in a way that is going to really create change rather than just be a knee-jerk reaction in order to satisfy the emotional outrage of others. Emotional outrage doesn't matter. It's a useless reaction. It does not solve anything. In fact, quite the opposite. It serves to rile people up, and to satisfy that emotional outrage is immature. You need to create solutions for the problems that exist, not soothe the emotional outrage. You can't reason with emotional outrage. You can't argue it with emotions. It's impossible. So what happened to the boy, I mean, it's unfortunate, but at the same time, if you're going to run away from the cops, you're putting yourself at risk. That's just a fact. I'm not saying that he deserved what he got. I'm just saying that if you're going to run from cops, that comes with a risk. And at the same time, the officer, based on the body cam footage, this should not have been labeled as a clean shoot. If there was a gun on the ground, it was probably planted, because whether he pulled a gun or not, or whether he had a gun or not, unless the body cam footage, and I didn't see the body cam footage, so I can't say one way or the other. But if it gets reviewed and it is seen that there was no gun pulled, that's a bad shoot. And officers who conduct bad discharges of their weapon should be held accountable to the highest point, because that's murder. And that's exactly what happened with the boy's father as well. He committed murder because he was emotionally charged, and he did not do anything to deal with that. And it's like my mom always says, 2 wrongs don't make a right, but 3 lefts do. You can't do something wrong because someone else did something wrong and say that it's justified. There is no justification. I mean, wake the hell up. When did we stop acting like adults? When did we start acting like self-appointed victims? I yield the mic.
I want to put this on the table. I had a conversation with one of the people that's supposed to be up here with us. And my exact words were, I'm going to speak how I want to speak about this. And nobody's going to tell me how to cover this whatsoever. And I say that because freedom of speech still matters, because I say it matters, because there are people like Jason that feels like it matters. That being said, there are too many stories, too many versions of this that I absolutely despise. I don't like that. Based on the variations, I'm going to tell you this off rip. The son does not lose his life if the father raises his son the way that he's supposed to raise his son. That's exactly how I'm going to start this off. My condolences and my heart breaks for that family, 1000%. But we aren't going to pretend as if what led him there isn't a part of what inevitably caused his death. Everything happens for a reason. Your decisions put you in spaces where either you should be or you shouldn't be. And the loss was not justified. what I watched here was absolutely uncalled for. Now they're saying, oh, he was running with a gun in one video, and then you watch this video, he's not running with a gun. Then you hear another video where it's saying, well, the gun was dropped by the trash can. Well, where's the footage for the gun? Where's the footage for any of this that you're talking about? Now, I'm gonna tell you right now, I have another angle, and this is the body camera again, but this is actually the it's a little blurry, but you can still see the officer in pursuit of the guy. They kind of pause it where they try to indicate where the gun was left, and this is why I don't like these type of situations where you have multiple stories, because you can easily misconstrue what actually happened, and they'll paint a picture to be something more than it really is. The bottom line is two people lost their life that shouldn't have. And I want to say the officer in this particular situation did a horrible job at how he approached this. And I'm going to bring something up, because I just did a stream the other day where a U.S. airman was in his home. We don't even know if the deputy that showed up to his house was supposed to be there because of contradicting stories. Knocked on the door. The young man came to the door. He was on FaceTime with one phone in his hand, and then he had his gun in his other hand. And as soon as he opened the door, the officer let off 6 shots, killed him. The police department is saying they didn't authorize him to go to that man's property. He's saying that he got the permission to go to the property. And I brought that up to say this. As a black man in this country, you don't know. You really don't know. You really have to be on your P's and Q's. Your very skin complexion makes people nervous. Not everyone, but a large majority of people. But to see this young man running away, I could understand if he was running towards the officer in an aggressive way and he had the weapon on him. He's running away from you and you shot. I didn't see anything right here at all. I didn't see any procedures handled here properly. I didn't see any intelligence used here, because that young man knew he was in the wrong. For whatever reason he was there in the first place. He shouldn't have been there, but he was. He knew he was wrong and he tried to run. You shouldn't have ran. But I can understand why he ran. I don't get it. I don't really accept it, but I can accept it. I'm gonna yield right there.
So, talking about the different things of what might have happened. I mean, the video that we saw was video of was it looked like video from a different instance, because the two people that were running, if they came up on a stolen vehicle, you're going to have one, maybe two cruisers. You're not going to have air support in the area, not that quickly. So where's the body cam footage? Where's the actual footage of what happened? Because what we saw there, what we saw from that video that you posted, that was aerial footage. That was not body cam footage. Body cam footage is personal point of view, as if you were looking from the point of view of the cop as they're doing their thing. It's like a first person shooter kind of view. That's what body cam view is. If it's not that, it's not real. If someone says, "Well, we have footage," and they show me something, well, that's not body cam footage. That's not what I'm looking for. It's been brought up many times, that word body cam footage. Giving anything other than that, when you're talking about that specific thing, I don't want to hear it, because it's not. It's going to be propagandized, and it's going to be something that is not, as far as I'm concerned, not real. So if the body cam footage is out there, let's see it, because I want to see what really happened. And if that can be produced, if that's actually out for the public to consume, which I doubt, fantastic. But like I said, I doubt that it is. But anyway, that regardless of that, the fact that this had to occur, Mel, you said something that I absolutely agree with. If the father raised his son the way a man is supposed to raise their son, this would not have occurred. One, he probably wouldn't have been joyriding in a stolen vehicle. Two, he wouldn't have been in a position where he had to run from the police, which means the risk of this happening would have been extremely low. Now, I'm not a black man, obviously. I don't deal with the kinds of things that you have to deal with. So I have no way of really being able to put myself in your shoes. I can guess, but that's as far as it goes. And you're right. Being a black man in the U.S., especially in a large city where there is a lot of judgment and a lot of points of view on both sides, it creates a lot of tension. And that tension leads to stupid decisions being made in high-stress environments, like a foot pursuit by police when chasing down someone who is doing something they're not supposed to. It increases the risk. You would think by now, because this is not new, what we're dealing with right now is 2025. We've been dealing with this ever since, at least, God. Well, it's been going on for a very long time. So this is not new. So this is something that you would think that people would prepare their children for. And if they don't, they're irresponsible. And then for them to lash out the way that the man did, that is absolutely reprehensible. I yield the mic.
So there's a clip I have. I don't know what happened. I thought I uploaded it. I'm trying to find it as we speak, but I'm just going to do this for the moment. Let's just put it in perspective. What do you do to mitigate the possibilities of getting arrested? What do you do to mitigate the possibilities of heart attack, heart disease, cancer, diabetes, pregnancy, getting arrested in general? It's a rhetorical, but y'all know what I'm talking about. Everybody here is an adult. You know right from wrong. There are certain things that you are supposed to do just by nature, just naturally. The older you get, understanding the protocols, the laws, the code of ethic, having morals, and et cetera, et cetera. There are things that you know that you should be dipping in and what you shouldn't be dipping in. And when you decide to go outside of what is put in place to establish law to say, fuck it, I'm gonna do what I want. You breach contract. You're essentially saying all bets are off. I'm not about to wait for the light to turn green before I drive through. I'm not about to wait for the pedestrian sign to turn white before I walk across. We all make the decisions to eat unhealthy. We all make the decisions to lay with people. We all make the decisions to be whatever it is that we decide to be in that moment. We feel however we feel. And so, again, for the people who was lashing out and saying that Rodney Hinton is a hero, if he was really a hero, he would still be free. He wouldn't be facing aggravated murder, and he would have found another avenue to get justice for his son. We talk about emotional intelligence. We've talked about communication. We've talked about leadership. We've talked about how to carry yourself as an adult. We've had so many discussions up here. And then when you get stories like this, it's like, well, shit. The man ain't never even been locked up before. That's the thing that is really tripping me out. He has a squeaky clean record. But when and I hope you can help me out with this part right here, because I've heard this before too. People will literally, and I understand it. People will literally spend the rest of their life behind bars over their kids. The right, wrong, or indifferent, they will absolutely take that bullet, take that charge, and they will go behind them prison walls. And I understand that part. But I'm going to tell y'all like this. If my kid is out here doing some stupid shit, if he's out here doing some stupid shit and he gets caught up, the police come for him and he's guilty, go ahead, take him. He gonna have to learn. I'm not bailing you out. I'm probably not even going to visit you, to be honest with you, because I'm disappointed in you. I didn't raise you like that. The fuck you think this is? You're absolutely going to have to deal with the consequences. And that's one of the reasons why I always think to myself, you really talking about going to jail or ending your life over? I understand, but no, they did what they did. You gotta let them grow up. You gotta let them stand on their own 2 feet and deal with what comes with that. You can't coddle them and hold their hand every time they make a boo-boo or they cut their finger and all that. His son shouldn't have been there. The cop, as far as I'm concerned, horrible training, trigger happy. I'm not even going to say it was racist. You can call it that. You can say there was something there. I mean, for the last couple of weeks, all we see is cops or someone of the opposite in some type of situation. But I mean, again, man, we all kill each other. We all end up in some type of violent situations with each other over being sensitive, being emotional, having a position of power and abusing it. But I'm gonna stop there because I really want to know, like, from like your professional opinion about what you think about parents risking it all for their children. I mean, risking their life and going to like, is there a threshold for what is acceptable and what isn't acceptable when it comes to losing your loved one in a unfortunate situation that was not natural?
I think it's misguided love. Honestly, it's a desire to. It's an interpretation of the desire to care for one's own loved ones, and it's completely misguided. And I say that because there's no point in there's no benefit for someone sacrificing themselves so that their offspring doesn't have to bear the burden of their own consequences. To me, it makes absolutely no sense. You did something stupid, pay the piper. If you got caught doing something illegal, own up to it. Parents who think that they should be taking one for the team, essentially, for their children, they're doing such a disservice twice for their kids. In that one act, one, they are refusing to allow their children to deal with the consequences of their actions. And two, they're removing themselves as an influence from their lives, from their kids' lives. That's a 2-for-1 special in all the worst ways. Instead of being someone who says, well, what did we learn? Okay, it looks like you have to go to jail for this one. Good luck. I'll be here when you get out. I'll always love you, but you're the one who has to bear this burden. At what point did we refuse to parent our kids and teach them to be responsible for their actions? And why is that permissible? Why is it allowed for people? Why is it celebrated for people to be taking responsibility for their children's actions? There's no, in my world, there's no way that's permissible. If my child does something that breaks the law, they are owning up to it. They're going to do the time because they're going to learn in the best way possible. Consequences have, or decisions and actions have consequences, and those consequences must be faced. Of course, I would do the best that I can to teach my kids how to do the right thing. But at the end of the day, I have to recognize that they will make their own decisions. I don't own them. They are their own people. I'm just a steward for a time until they go out and do their own thing. When did parents become so fucking stupid? And that's really what it is. It's absolute stupidity. Because like I said, you punish kids twice when you do this, by not allowing them to take the consequences for their actions, and then removing yourself as an influence from their lives. Dumbest thing ever. I yield the mic.
That's exactly what it is. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, you weak, you soft, oh, you this, you that. God owns you. God owns you. He owns me. He owns everybody on this planet. Everything that you have and are is because of him. When you leave this earth, you go back to him. Your children don't belong to you. You don't belong to you. Don't you understand that part? I don't think people really think about that. You don't even own you for real, for real. You are a visitor on this planet. You are. And if you're not, show me where I sign up for eternal life. This idea that you slap your children on the wrist and then they don't learn from what they did is absolutely nuts to me. And I'm going to get on the officer some more because I ain't letting that slide either. But like, I want to make sure that people understand where I'm at with it. Like, I don't like crime on any spectrum, from Mexican, from black people to white people, from Indians. I don't care who you are. I'm looking at the parents like, what the fuck was you doing when they was little kids? Why did you let them become so fucking bad? Why did you let them bully kids? Why did you let them have sex? Why did you let them sneak out the house? Why were you introducing them to 5 different men in your life? Why were you just off of the rip? He should still be here. And if you're going to be angry as a parent, be angry at yourself first. Be angry at yourself first for not putting hands and feet on your children, for being disrespectful, for not staying in school, for not reading them books. Stay on their helmet. How about you keep the same energy for all of those D's and F's that they get on their report cards? For all them days they were cutting class, for all them days the teachers had to call you because they were doing this and doing that. And then you want to get on camera and you want to get on social media and paint them to be this special kid and they're just like the greatest thing in the world, when you know damn well, and I know, they were bad as shit. And now I'm not even saying that's what happened here, but we don't know. We don't. And I mean this with all due respect. He wasn't even where he was supposed to be. And again, there's too many different versions of this. There are people saying that the car wasn't even stolen in the first place. Give me definitive, clear evidence that it was a stolen vehicle. Give me clear evidence that he wasn't supposed to be where he was. Give me clear evidence about all of it. Speculations. All speculations. Until I know proof, until I see all of the evidence, it's all speculations. But we're talking about 2 different universes. One universe is where we don't have enough to say that this young man was doing something he shouldn't. Then there's another universe where he was actually doing exactly what he shouldn't have been doing. And you're still trying to defend the fact that he was doing something that he shouldn't have been doing, which is weird as hell to me. How do you defend something that is bad? That shit always gets under my skin. Defending things that you know is wrong. This could have been your daughter or somebody hanging out with him. Police pull up. It could have went left. Something could have happened to one of your loved ones, because do you understand, by association, when you hanging around certain people, you might not even have anything to really do with what's going on with them, but because you with them, you can end up in some stuff with them as well. That's why you got to be careful with who your friends are. That's neither here nor there. My point is, hold your children accountable. Be angry, grieve, all that. I personally, it would take, I don't know, bro. I'm a firm believer in letting justice do what it's supposed to do. There are people right now that would kill another person if they found out that their child was inappropriately touched. And I'm probably the last person that would actually go that far. I'm like, I would rather you go to jail and I would let the sentence, and I would leave it to justice to do its due. I'm not, because I just don't have it in me to take another person's life. Everybody's life is precious, and it's not my place to judge you or condemn you to a heaven or a hell. That's not my job. That's not my role. I'm gonna give you the mic back because I'm about to upload this clip. I found the clip. I'm gonna have to mute it, but it's the actual body footage. It's not very long, but it's enough for you to kind of see a closer look at it. I yield the mic.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that. This is a great discussion. It seems like you and I are really well aligned on many points of this. I will say one thing though. I also have a high degree of value in the life of a person. That being said, it has its limits, like with everything else. If you're going to attack me, you're putting your life at risk because, well, this goes with the way that I was trained. I was trained to make sure that the way that I was trained when I was learning how to fight. My father was my teacher. Always go into a fight with your opponent's with your opponent's win condition or loss condition in mind. Meaning that if you're going to get into a fight, make sure that you know what they need to experience in order for them to stop, and don't go any further. And that is really the warrior's code, if you think about it. You satisfy your opponent's winning condition or losing condition. And I think that way too many people are under this delusion that they have to win at all costs. That there's no honor is something that's optional. When really honor is the thing that should be absolutely necessary in all things. If you don't have honor, you have no value. And I'm a firm believer in that. If you're not going to be honorable, then you don't deserve shit. But I digress. I'm going to yield the mic because I'm just going to start rambling.
I got you. So I'm waiting for that video to process. I do want to move to another video that I have, and with this one in particular, it's showing Rodney Hinton, the father, in court, and his brother is trying to let him know that he's present. The police are trying to intimidate him. It almost gets really nasty. But the reason why I want to show this one is because, like I said, people are saying that he's a hero. And quite frankly, I'm gonna save this for after, but I think y'all are fucking nuts. Y'all be saying some stupid shit sometimes. But I'm gonna play it.
Whole facts. So absolutely whole facts.
And yeah, like I'm gonna speak on it, but let me go ahead and play this real quick. It's like 1:30.
Officer that killed my grandson. I've been praying hard for him and his family because I know he's hurting off this. As I seen in the video about my grandson, I seen two scared people. I seen the officer scared, and I seen my grandson scared. So it's an unfortunate incident that happened. So that's all.
That's not the one. That's not the one. I'm gonna come back to that one. I'm gonna play this one first, then I'm gonna come back to that one because that was the actual father of Rodney Hinton. His whole perspective is different than everybody else's.
5 shots hitting Hinton twice.
What the chief said.
Where's the gun?
Right there. Now we all see that young man doesn't even see that police. He is looking straight ahead. Looking straight ahead, and as the man, he doesn't even have a gun. The gun is on the ground behind him. He's trying to get away.
My apologies. That was the footage that I was talking about. The one where it was the actual body cam with him in pursuit of the officer. So that, I guess that kind of worked out for itself. Like I said, it was kind of blurry, but even as blurry as it was, you could still see just enough to tell the threat that they trying to paint this as was not what it really was. Not to me. I didn't see it. The video that I was referring to was him going to court, and I thought I had it up. I guess I didn't. He's going to trial. He's about to go before the judge. There's a glass there. His folks is on the other side of the glass with the rest of the family and the dozens of cops. And he's walking over to the glass. He's banging on the glass, and then the cousin or the family member of the officer who got hit and killed, he got up out of his seat, confronted his folks, put his hands on them, and then it turned into almost what would have been a brawl. But you got angry officers mad that someone, and this is why I say I was going to address this in a second, because you got to understand these officers just lost somebody who been in the service for years and years and years, and he didn't even have anything to do with it in the first place. Rodney Hinton killed an innocent man that had absolutely nothing to do with what happened to his son. But your emotions got the best of you. Your emotions dictated how you were going to respond. You didn't even go after the right person. But even then, I wouldn't have considered that a logical move. Now, you saw the raw footage. You saw the actual footage of the officer in question going after Ryan. What did you see? Did you see anything there from your own set of eyes? Or was it clear enough? I mean, what are your thoughts on that video?
It was distorted as fuck. It was so hard to see anything. Like I saw him in the vehicle. I'm like, okay, what am I looking at? What am I seeing? And then it pauses, and it's like, what I want to know is how did they get such an angle of both the boy and the vehicle? That's a wide angle they got. I thought body cams showed just the point of view of the officer. There's a wide angle between what is being shown in the vehicle. I think that's the alleged stolen vehicle.
Right.
So it's like, huh? How is it that you got that wide of a lens, and why didn't we see more of the footage when it was being shown? What are we not seeing? Because there wasn't a lot to go on. It was very hard to see, very grainy. Even when you're saying this is what it is, it's like, how do you get that? How do you see that? I don't know. Maybe I need to watch it a few times. Maybe I need to find it and I need to actually do my own looking, because I don't know what the hell I was seeing.
And see, that's why I say I don't like when you have too many different versions of something. The guy was recording it off of his TV anyway, so that was already not helping in the first place. But even still, I did not. Even if he's recording it off his TV, it still shouldn't be that blurry, unless his camera lens is distorting the footage. But watching it, I don't know how they're like. I've seen videos when they are arresting or going to deal with shoplifters and people who scam. I've never seen like the body camera have such a wide view of just about everything. It's kind of like person to person. I don't know how to explain it, but even with all that, I didn't see the guy running at him. He was running away from him, and his back was turned. I didn't see him charge. I don't know. I'm more upset that he was even there in the first place. But I'm also mad that you, and somebody actually brought this up too. They said, why is it that they will use a taser gun on someone that is not my complexion, but they always go to the gun when it's a black person? I don't have enough information or numbers to say that that's true or not true, but it did pose that question to me. It does seem to have some validity to it. I barely see tasers used on black people at all. All around, this is just disappointing. Now, let me direct my attention over there. I want to play that video that I was playing with the father. I want to play that one because I understand that a lot of people, they siding with the dad. Oh, he's a superhero. He took somebody that didn't deserve to lose their life away from their loved ones and family. He displayed himself poorly as a black man and I'm saying it as a black man. He didn't represent us the way that he could have represented us. He was supposed to go to court. He was supposed to get lawyered up, and he was supposed to make sure that his son didn't die in vain. And he was supposed to carry on his legacy without being the cop killer. That wasn't supposed to be attached to his jacket whatsoever. He was supposed to say, all right, win, lose, or draw, we're going to get to the bottom of this. If this was something that had to happen due to a path that my son chose in order for God to get me to be used to do something to shed light on the corruption that is in the police force, then I'm going to trust in the process and I'm going to walk this. He didn't want to do that. He took it to the street. He took it hood. He took it to the stereotypes and the stigmas that we always seem to adopt whenever we get put under the pressures I'm maybe I'm just too by the book. I believe that God is going to do things in the midst of everything that we are facing. We don't have to lift our finger. Just trust that he's going to take care of your heart, take care of your pain, take care of your burdens, take care of your family. He's going to be the one that brings justice to you. You don't have to worry about it, even though it hurts. I just believe in things like that. So I'm going to come off square, and I'm going to come off a certain type of way because, yeah, I'm going to allow the judicial system to handle this. And on top of that, not only am I going to make the officers and that police force pay, I'm going to use what happened to my child to bring more light, more attention, bring more faces and eyes on this city, on this town. Oh, I'm gonna absolutely capitalize off of this, and not in a I'm trying to monetize off of it. No, there's a bigger picture here, and I don't think we look at that stuff. We're too short term with our feelings and emotions. I'm thinking long term. I'm like, well, my heart is broken, but I guarantee you, you will never forget my face after this, because I'm going to be on your ass every single day after this. I'm talking programs, I'm talking buildings, I'm talking creating certain like infrastructures that actually help children that are disenfranchised or going down the wrong path. And I'm talking about the long. See, y'all don't be thinking about stuff like that. All you're really worried about is revenge. I know I just went on and on and on. My apologies. This stuff really does bother me, but let me go ahead and play this last clip, and I'll turn it over to you if you want to add any context to this video or any of it in general.
Officer that killed my grandson, I've been praying hard for him and his family because I know he's hurting off this. As I seen in the video about my grandson, I seen two scared people. I seen the officer scared, and I seen my grandson scared. So it's an unfortunate incident that happened. So that's all I seen. It was like, I didn't see the police there trying to kill. No. What I seen was two persons made a mistake. My grandson made a mistake being there, and the officer, he was trying to get back to his family too. So that's what I seen. So it's not about revenge or anything. I have nothing against nobody. You know, my Lord and Savior is Jesus Christ, and I represent him. So with that said, please, everybody, just try to forgive everybody who done anything to anybody.
Mr. Hinton, for you, this is a fact-finding mission more than anything to make sure you understand.
Yeah, it's a peace thing for me, for everything, for everybody to heal off this. I want everybody to heal off this. You know, it was just like a mistake. I really feel bad for the officer who was shooting, because I can see the scariness in him too. People can't see it because I'm going spiritual with this now. So I was able to see that God had allowed me to see this part of the accident. You know, just like my son made an accident too. So he made an accident. Just, you know what I'm saying, just trying to just move on now. That's all I'm trying to do on. And I'm praying for the officer and their family.
Finally, the voice of reason.
Yeah.
It would have been great if that voice of reason had trickled down to his son before deciding to take the life of an innocent bystander because of the way that he was feeling.
I agree. You don't really realize how much wisdom matters until you holding that mirror up to your face. When I listen to him talk, I could understand exactly how he felt and where he was coming from and why he's not holding all of that anger. And I know he's hurt, but he's not carrying it the way that everybody else is carrying it, because there's things that he knows there's an experience that he's had that has brought him to that place of clarity. And what I'm going to assume is that, I mean, it's just that some people are not going to be able to handle situations like this. It's why I create or bring up certain topics on the show, man. Like understanding how to deal with your emotions, your feelings, and things of that nature, man. That stuff is important. You can't be an adult, and then when you get put in adult situations, you go and revert back to being a teenager again.
Emotional growth doesn't stop. You can't say that you're grown now and then you can do whatever you want and stop being accountable for your actions. It doesn't work that way. I swear to God, we're living in a society that is absolutely trying to go backwards in their development. And the ones who want to do that, well, this is what you get. I mean, survival of the fittest is at play, and the fittest are the ones who are most adaptable. People who do this kind of shit are not adaptable. People who act like a fool, who act immature, who act like children when you're a grown-ass adult, you are not adaptable. So you're going to be selected out. And, oh well. Shit happens. Next.
My final thoughts on this, to piggyback off what you said, you are not winning. There are no prizes for going to jail or getting locked up, because you can't handle something that has been with us since before we were born. Christ dealt with it. You didn't think you were going to deal with it. You didn't think this was going to come to your doorstep at some point. You didn't think injustices was going to come to you. You didn't think you were going to get wronged by people. See, it's not about revenge. You have the right to feel how you feel. But there's a bigger plan and a bigger message within the pain. There's a bigger message within the generalizations and the racism and the capitalism and the stereotypes and your anger and your lust and your need to prove that you're more masculine than the next person, and that there's a message behind walking away and deciding that you can have other opportunities to make your voice felt without violence and without death and without destruction. Oh, you killed my son, so I'm going to kill someone who didn't have anything to do with it just because he's a specific color and he's a police officer. Great.
Last time I checked, isn't that called racism?
So let me I'm trying to understand the math, Jason. So what you're telling me is you kill one person, then they kill someone, and then I guess it's magically over. Problem solved. The injustices are completely eviscerated. There are no more corrupt cops after you kill one. There won't be no more black kids getting killed because you killed one black kid. There won't be no more jealousy, more envy because you handled it.
I revert back to something I had said before. Two wrongs don't make a right. All it does is it keeps on promoting the episodes of violence. All it does is it perpetuates the violence that exists. Because the more that is done, the more people get riled up and they want to turn action. It takes someone with a clear head saying, whoa, we got to stop this. But why is it we have to wait for that to happen? Why can't cooler heads prevail before that occurs? Yes, like the man said, this was a tragedy. This was I don't know if accident is the right word. I'm not sure exactly still what happened. I know that someone got shot, someone died, and then there was a premeditated murder that happened. So the thing that popped it off, there's more information that's necessary, but still, regardless of the information that you get, it does not justify taking that kind of action, especially where someone wasn't involved. Now, if the man decided he was going to target the cop who killed his son, okay, that's a little different. That's a different conversation. But that didn't happen. It was complete ignorance and blind emotion that caused this person to do what he did. And that is, I have very little respect for ignorance, but for blind emotional outrage and outlashing like this, that is a contempt I have of a whole different level. It tells me that not only do you have no ability to control yourself, but you have no desire to even try. And those kinds of people, it's like, yeah, there's a special place in hell for you. And the sooner you get there, the better. And I don't care what your disposition is. I don't care where you're from, what you look like. If you're going to have that kind of attitude, then there's a warm, special place in hell for you. I yield the mic.
Yeah. The sad part about it is those are the people that are essentially the ones that's getting arrested and getting put in the ground all day, every day. The same ones, the exact same ones. Tit for tat. Well, congratulations. Congratulations. I'm afraid that after this, people aren't really going to be looking at a solution. They're more or less just going to try to fuel the fire and make it worse, instead of actually thinking, well, maybe this is an opportunity for me to kind of check myself on how I move and how I operate. Maybe I'm kind of I'm too hot-headed. Maybe I need to reevaluate some stuff too, because what I've been doing ain't working, and clearly we see that what happened here ain't. Now I'm just going to wait for further information to come out. Let's see what happens when it all boils down. Outside of all of that, man, I appreciate you, bro, for pulling up. And again, my condolences to the officer, my condolences to the Hintons, and to the people that are watching. It's okay to turn the other cheek. There are other ways to handle situations that don't really favor you. If we really want change and we really want to make our voice heard, then make your voice heard. Everybody here has the ability to go to a library, learn your laws, learn the regulations and rules. Everybody has functioning limbs. If you really want to make a difference, then you really want to see something happen, instead of rage baiting and arguing, start going after these policies. Go ahead and start attacking the actual problems that allow for a lot of this stuff to get ignored. He should be an example. The officer should be an example. What to do and what not to do, for real. But I'm gonna leave it at that. We'll be back tomorrow. At least I'll be back tomorrow. Not clear on what I want to do. I do have something in mind, so be on the lookout for that. I hope you guys enjoy your evening, your Friday, if I don't see you. But before you go, do me a solid, like, share, subscribe to the channel if you would. It's optional, no pressure. Jason, I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. And same to you.
I will catch you guys later. Leave your comments in the comment section of the video. Do you agree? Did you disagree with anything that was said up here? I would love to hear from you. We are out.